Hello guys, welcome back. My name is Lucky.
My name is Shaneka.
Together we are Lush. Today we're gonna be talking about me and my experiences in growing up in Nigeria compared to living in the UK. For those of you that don't know, I was born in Nigeria. I lived there until I was 12, almost 13, and then I moved over to the UK, and I've been in the UK ever since then. So basically I spent half of my life in Nigeria and half of my life here.
So far.
Soon.
You're gonna have to spend more of your life here.
No.
Okay.
You don't know, we might be moving to Nigeria very soon. But yeah, so we're gonna be looking at different areas that I found very different with growing up in Nigeria and also coming to the UK and seeing how things are here. I guess the first thing that we'll talk about is the family unit, how family life is like in Nigeria growing up, and what I found when I came to the UK. For me, first thing I would say is that family in Nigeria is, for me growing up in the area I grew up in, Benin City, it's an inclusive thing. It's not just community based, it's more of a, you get to do life with your extended family more, in the sense that your cousins come and stay over at your place for long periods of times, and it's very easy for you to go stay over at your cousin's place and just live there for months, especially during the holiday.
Why does that happen? Why does that happen? That sort of thing. Like go to live with your cousins for a long time. It's
just, to be honest, maybe the cousins are having a problem at home and they need to give them some discipline, so they probably tell them, okay, you're gonna stay with your auntie's, stay in your auntie's house or your uncle's house. When I was at home, I think every year throughout my time at home, there's always a cousin staying in our house or two. And yeah, they come to stay with us. They change schools and start going to a new school at our place. And that was quite good, because you begin to learn from other people, not just your immediate family. I really enjoyed that part because I got to know more people in that process. Yeah, another thing to do with family setup is the fact that we had a big house back then. Well, not back then, we have a big house in Nigeria, and that way there's always spare rooms for cousins or other family members to come and stay whenever they feel like. But then when I came to the UK, it's a lot different. Every room is already used or is allocated to somebody, and it's not easy for you to just get your cousin that lives in Birmingham to come to London and stay with you for a long period of time, because that's not the way the system is here. And I also found out that the family and the community sense over here is very individualistic, if that makes sense. Every family tends to keep to themselves. This is my experience, and also that's everybody's experience. What else? I just feel like, yeah, it was one family to themselves. It wasn't like a big community or family coming together. I don't know how.
So what about, like, I guess there's a big, okay, I don't want to say stereotype, because I know in a lot of African communities, like, this is the reality, but I want to know, like, how does it differ between, like, the UK and Nigeria in terms of, like, having, like, aunties and uncles? How involved are they in the family setup in Nigeria, and what are the differences between that and here? I
think back in Nigeria, like you said, the idea of having aunties and uncles, they're basically closer to you, if that makes sense. You respect them the way you respect your parents, if that makes sense. Even going beyond aunties and uncles, anybody in your community, they have the right to discipline you, to take care of you, and to question you when you're doing things wrong. Yeah. Coming to this country, if you're not someone's parents, you don't have the right to question them. And it's not just the case of the people not having the rights, also most of the parents not letting their kids to be spoken to by other people. I felt like coming here, seeing it the way it is, kids and people growing up in this country, they're not as fearful of other people apart from their immediate family as in Nigeria. In Nigeria, everybody in your community, you have to respect them. As long as they're older than you, you have to respect them. Otherwise, they have the right to discipline you. Yeah. And they have the right to tell your parents, which gives you even double discipline. So I definitely think that aunties and uncles are much closer in Nigeria to me than in the UK.
Okay. So you feel as though essentially that they have more involvement in like your like family life / upbringing in Nigeria than they have had here, so to speak.
Yeah, I think I'll definitely agree with that. When it comes to even the term of babysitting, for example, in Nigeria, where I come from in Benin City, your neighbor can babysit your child for you if you're not around. There's somebody to look after your child. There's like this says that the community raises the child. That's literally the case in Nigeria. Over here, you are responsible for your child. It's like if you don't have a daycare plan ready for your child, you're gonna have to stay at home with them. In Nigeria, that's not necessarily the case, especially in the community that I grew up. It's a very open community. You know where the next house is, you can go and play in the next house. It was there was that sense of closeness within people in the area. Coming to the UK, I don't even know what our next door neighbor was.
And that's interesting because I believe that because I know it's definitely like this in some parts of Africa and the Caribbean, like your houses are a lot more spread out. You're not like here where you walk your neighbor next door, but regardless of that being the case here, it's like that doesn't guarantee that you're even going to know who they are. And I guess like what you're saying kind of is highlighting the fact that there really, in some sense, is a lack of community living here in the UK, really and truly.
Especially in London.
Yeah.
And I think that in a way,
London is so multicultural, it's so diverse.
It's so diverse that people have come from different parts of the world with their own culture.
Sure.
And everybody is skeptical of the other person.
Yeah.
I guess in Nigeria, growing up in Nigeria, you know everybody in your area. The worst thing, maybe they come from a different tribe. The chances that they're all from the same Nigerian community, so we all understand each other to large scheme we all understand each other.
Yeah,
but over here, you got somebody from China next door, you got somebody from Thailand, from Brazil, from South Africa. So coming to the UK with different culture, it changes the way the system is, I guess.
And obviously that is beautiful, being able to be among so many different cultures, but then I guess it dilutes the ability to be able to like replicate, so to speak, what you had in your own kind of country, wherever that is. So. Yeah,
I think this is my experience. I'm just saying, I know of some people, other people that grow up here that can say that they're very close to their neighbors and they could go to their neighbor's house and those kind of things. That was not the case for me. I've never been to
be fair,
neighbor's house.
That was the case for me, but at the same time, I'm thinking. So I moved house when I was about 5, and we lived in a close, so to speak, of like 6 houses. So like we all used to play out together. We were in and out of each other's houses. There was like lots of young families, if that makes sense. But it's still, it's still probably nothing like what you experienced growing up, because we, as much as that was the case, we weren't of one culture, we weren't of one race either. So like it was, it was definitely different.
And I guess it's mostly to do with the way the system is in the UK. That's what I would say. It's not like if Nigeria is better than here. It's just the way the society is here. It's more multicultural, so people have different background, different way of living. So therefore, it's a bit more difficult for people to be as close as the way in Nigeria for me. That's what I would say about family and literally local community upbringing, the difference.
So you mentioned also that like in Nigeria, there's a lot of like extended family living together and stuff like that. So in terms of like family setups, how could you see the difference between the family setup in a Nigerian home in Nigeria to when you come here? Because like, for example, I'm predominantly from a single parent family. So do you like, how prevalent are those sort of things in Nigeria? What were the differences in like, because even now you're saying that in the UK here, it's every kind of, so to speak, nuclear family does their thing. So what are those sort of differences like?
I think I never knew the idea of single parents until I came to the UK. If I may say that. Growing up in Nigeria is the chance of people living in a single parent is more so that one of the partner dies or maybe there's a separation, but it's quite unlikely. So coming here to the UK and see the people talking about single parents, I was like, what is that? It's more so to do with the social welfare system in this country. I think it enables things like that to happen. In Nigeria or in most African community, both parents work together, or there's one main breadwinner. So it's really better for you to be together, if that makes sense. In Nigeria, it's more of a struggle for you to be single, just get pregnant and have a child, and then just say that the father should be on their own. It's very, very unlikely.
Also though, is it less accepted there?
Single parents?
Like let's say for example like it just in terms of like how they see like
you get pregnant out of wedlock and then you're gonna have a child. I think it's not as welcome there, because that's not the way culture is.
Sure.
The idea of things is that you get married, and then once you get married you have kids. If you're to get married and then if you're not married and then you decide to have, you get pregnant and you have a kid, sometimes there is like a social stigma towards you that you are spoiled, you're not responsible, which in a way it's sometimes not the case, but the mindset over there is the fact that the only way for you to have kids is by getting married. That's the largely understood way of rearing kids. So yeah, I think the family setup in terms of that, I feel like single parents was not a popular thing where I grew up in Nigeria. It's more so here. It's like the social norm to be a single parent in the UK or in London.
So obviously you mentioned that you were in Nigeria for a particular length of time, and so obviously that meant that like you went to school there and everything like that. Well, by the grace of God it did anyway. So I just wanted to ask, like, what differences did you notice in the schooling systems and stuff like that?
There was a big difference, and today I'm still very, very grateful that I got to start my education in Nigeria, because the ground and the foundation that I got in Nigeria is what is taking me to where I am today, in terms of education. I was up till maybe, what should I say, by the time I left I was like 12, 13, so I was in year 9, year 8-ish in the UK time system. The school is so much different. I won't say it's the same, it's different.
Let us know, what are some of the differences?
Firstly, you have to pay to go to school. But if you're going to public school, then you might not have to pay all. But if you're going to private school, which I went to a local private school in my area, we had to pay to go to school. So it's a privilege to go to school. Over here it's a right. It's like you must go to school. I guess as a result, the mindset towards school is a lot different in Nigeria compared to here. In Nigeria, when you're going to school, you have to make sure you are studying. You have to make sure you get good results. And then at the end of each term, you get like a report of your performance, and that was like getting your A-level results or getting your university degree results. Wow. That's how it felt for us. Over there's a system called the scoring system is in positions, so first, second, third, fourth, up to last. So they rank people in that order at the end of each term. In
terms of what grade, like
overall of your overall performance, they get it, and then they give you positions.
Okay. Imagine becoming last. That is just long.
Yeah, especially after paying so much money. Your parents paying so much money, and then you become lost, and then
it's like, are you not clever, or are you? I don't know.
Yeah. So sometimes the thing is that education is not for everybody. Exams is not for everybody. There's some people that just generally struggle in the education system. So for me, I would say that I was on the brighter side. So I used to probably be in the top 10.
Wow.
But then being in the top 10. For some families, not enough. You have to be at the top of your class.
That is, I can't even imagine actually being in the top 10.
Yeah.
That is actually quite an achievement, isn't it?
Yeah, a class of maybe 30, 35.
Wow, that is quite good.
Yeah, it's good. Overall, it's good, but some parents have a specific expectation from the kids, from their kids,
Yeah.
especially when they've raised them up a certain way and they've instilled in them the importance of education. They pay for their school fees, so they expect a return, and
Yeah.
the return that you can give to your parents is by being the best that you can in the class. So for me, sometimes I get first, especially in primary school. I got first a lot, and sometimes I get second or I get third. Yeah, whenever I don't get first, it becomes like I feel like I failed. If that makes sense, because going home, I'm scared, I'm worried, and I'm like, oh, what are my parents gonna think about it?
That's interesting, because I guess then the impact that can have on a child's mental health is not positive.
You can say that, but I just feel like Nigeria, we just live with it and we learn from it and we use it as a way to be better.
You say that, but I think
issue.
You say that, but I think what when it comes to mental health issues, like, it takes a long time for you to actually be able to recognize that this circumstance or this event actually impacted me. So what will happen is, like, it's in your adulthood that these things will play out. Do you know what I mean? So it's interesting, but yeah, it's just something to look at.
I think that experience of expecting your result and see what you're gonna get and being panicking that you don't get, if you don't get the right result, the feeling that you have, I must say that followed me throughout my education system, even coming to the UK. Whenever there's a result or result time, I'm always fretting because of the fear that, oh, what if I didn't do well?
Sure.
But then coming to the UK and looking at the way the education system is here, I felt it was easy. It was a walk in the park.
Wow.
Firstly, the teachers, they're so nice.
So what are the teachers in Nigeria like?
You get disciplined. You get caned.
So
if you're late, you get caned. If you're not wearing the
caned?
Yeah.
Well, you got beat at school?
Yeah. Oh. Oh yes, it's natural. It's part of it.
Were you late?
Very rarely.
The lucky I know now, I'll be surprised if you weren't late. But if you weren't late, maybe it's due to, like, you went to school with your brother, so maybe he makes sure you're on time.
Yeah.
But the lucky I know now, hey, you'll be getting caned.
No.
You'll be getting caned.
Allow that. So you get caned if you're late. If you're not wearing the right uniform, or your uniform is too dirty.
Too dirty?
Yeah.
Wow.
If you don't, yeah, some people are very dirty, so it's like, on Monday morning, some people's some people white socks is brown. It's like, why are you coming to school on Monday morning?
Yeah, that's a bit much.
That
is a bit much.
You get caned if you don't do your assignment, if you fight. So there was different discipline system over there.
So was that the main form of punishment? You get caned?
Yeah.
Do you have anything like exclusion or detention or anything like that? Detention?
Detain who? Who has your time to be doing detention? Detention is probably I don't want to even start about the UK system of education. I'll just keep my mouth shut. In terms of exclusion, you get, for me, in my school that I went to, you get excluded if you've done something really, really bad, like you fight a teacher or
you could even get to that stage of fighting a teacher.
Some kids are just rugged. You fight a teacher, or you fight someone else, or you break a school's property, that can lead to an exclusion.
Okay.
But then come to this UK and see the education system, the teachers are so nice to you. The worst that they'll tell you is you get a detention after school, or they're going to call your parents.
Did you ever experience that?
Detention?
Because I can only imagine, I feel like you was probably like such a good kid at school in the UK. I don't know about Nigeria.
I was a good kid, but
did you ever get detention?
I did get detention.
For what?
What do I do? Maybe not finishing an assignment or being late. I think lateness would probably be the main one.
Late to the lesson or to school?
To school.
Okay.
Or did I get one for not doing an assignment? No, probably not. But usually being late. Yeah, the teachers are very nice, and for me, they find me a sense of relief compared to the UK kids, because the kids in this UK think that everything is their right. So the way they acted when they're in school, I was shocked, because where I come from, you pay for education, and if you don't behave, they'll kick you out and they'll not teach you well. Over here, the teachers are pouring their heart, their love, their sweat to try and encourage you to learn, and kids are just abusing it. I just see it as an opportunity for me to learn, and also I took advantage of it, and whatever opportunity was there, I put myself forward for it.
Really?
Oh yes, you have to. and whenever the results come, I did as best as I can. I was not the smartest because it took a bit of adjustment to the UK system, because the way they teach in Nigeria is different from here. So it took me time to adjust to the system, but it was easy. It was easy because there was no pressure that you're gonna get caned. There was no wala of paying school fees, and then results is completely different. The way they see results is different over here than they did in Nigeria. Over here they don't do, not, I know some school they do rank orders, but in my school they did do rank orders. They just give you a result at the end of the term. You
also don't get exam every end of term.
Yeah, you don't get exam at the end of the term, and you have to wait until your GCSE or your SATs to do proper exams. So for me, the education system was very smooth here. I took advantage of every opportunity that was there, and I think for me the worrying thing was just that the way people in this majority of students in the UK did not value education as much. They saw it as their right, so they don't care. And the way teacher begs to get students to learn, I'm like, hey, you're begging people to learn. You kids,
what do you mean? You grew up in South London, so I don't know what struggle they might have had.
How was school like for you?
I don't know what struggle they had.
For
me, school was simple.
Were you a troublemaker in school?
No, I went to a very good school, so you can't really make trouble in this schools.
So you did not become a nuisance anytime in school?
No. Now, I wasn't a nuisance, but to be fair, I went to a very good school, so the littlest thing seems like you're causing trouble.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. So
yeah, for me, I just feel like it was easier. The school system, I got the benefit of both. I got the hard-working benefit from going to Nigeria, and then coming here to see the opportunity that matches hard work. I feel like over here, if you're hardworking, opportunity will come to you through the teachers, through the different external resources. But in Nigeria, you work hard, you might not get the same opportunities. So it was just a good blend for me, and yeah, I did well my GCSE, did well my A-levels, and then went on to university, did well as well, because I had that hard-working mentality from Nigeria. And I think I felt the same for all my friends as well that are over here that came from Nigeria. They saw that benefit as well, and we took advantage of the system. When I say took advantage, it's the sense that we took it serious compared to other people that grew up here in our area. But yeah, that's what I'll say about education. It's a good benefit for me. I really enjoy it.
Okay, yeah, so this has been really interesting, and given the length of time this has already taken, I think we'll probably have a part 2 for you guys, so stay tuned. Part 2 is coming
soon.
Very soon.
Very soon.
It will obviously be the next video. So
please like, share and subscribe. Till next time, bye bye.
Bye guys.